Hi everyone, welcome to my brand new episode. We've got a couple of things we want to talk about. I've got some comic books, I've got some TV shows that I want to cover. Oh man, it's going to be so much, man. I've got so much to show you, it's going to be good. I'm your host, Jacob Berry, and I want to welcome you to Studio Jake. Hi, and welcome back. Alright, so we're going to jump right into it. First, I want to talk Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, I know this review is a little late, and I'm sorry about that. My wife and I, we were unable to access our DirecTV for some time. It was all crazy. But we finally, but they've uploaded it early to Netflix, so I got to watch the end of the last season finally. And I liked the framework storyline. It was new, it was original. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. If you're waiting to watch it on Netflix, jump ahead a minute or two. So in the framework, we got to see Agent Triplet and Grant Ward again, and it was really cool. And Grant in this framework, he wasn't a villain. Pretty much the way the code was rewritten, Grant is a hero, and um, the life model Decoy, she wants to use the Darkhold, which was discovered earlier during the Ghost Rider storyline, to create herself a new body. And in the framework, she gives herself all these inhuman powers. So she has electricity and she can teleport. She's super strong and she heals fast. And it was really interesting how she did all this. And so she succeeded. She created herself a new body. And I thought that was really interesting, but was curious was that she fell in love with Fitz. Now, in the framework, she was Madame Hydra, and Fitz was her number two. Um, he was known as the Doctor. He was very corrupt, he was very evil, and he actually kills real people in the framework. People who die if they get killed in the framework. That was really hard for me to watch because I'm so used to Fitz being this caring person, and then all of a sudden he's a tragic villain. And when he finally breaks out of the framework, he feels total guilt for what he does, and it's something really hard for him. So he's connected to this life model Decoy, and she's, like I said, she's Madame Hydra, and in the framework she fell in love with him, but when he leaves, and in the framework he was in love with her, but when he leaves, of course he's in love with Gemma, and this causes a total SJW freak out for the LMD, and she goes absolutely crazy. And so I thought that whole storyline was good. And what I also liked about how this series developed was they let the core group get back together. And that was something that I missed from season one. And that was really cool. And I think the character Yo-Yo, the one who like slingshots real fast back and forth, um, I think she's going to become a main character in the next season. I'm pretty excited about that. Now, I've heard rumors that the upcoming season is going to be the last one, and if it is, I hope they bring back Bobbi and Lance. They need to bring them back. They were great characters and whatnot. Now, the season ends on a total cliffhanger. We don't know what's happening. S.H.I.E.L.D. gets destroyed again. I have to admit, I'm kind of tired of that too. I'm ready for S.H.I.E.L.D. to come out of the shadows and restart again. But maybe they're not sure what's going to happen with the movies because obviously Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That series is the one that's most connected to the movies, as opposed to the Defenders on Netflix. They are connected to the movies, but their circumstances are so isolated that that you don't really notice. So I think that if going forward, I hope they reintroduce Lance and Bobbi, and I hope that they bring it more back to a spy show because I really missed that aspect of it. All right, moving along. So I'm going to review this Dark Days, The Forge. So I can't wait to tell you my thoughts about this. This is Scott Snyder's new series. This is a one-shot. So this is not an ongoing series that they're going to do. This is a prelude to one that's going to be called Dark Knights, but spelled without the K. And it's going to be this huge climactic event in the DC universe. Batman is the main character, and I really appreciate it about that. And it has some connections to Hawkman and Hawkgirl, but it has great appearances by Aquaman, by Duke, who's Batman's new team member. Green Lantern, he has a pretty solid character appearance. Mr. Terrific. I mean, I'm pretty stoked about this. I think it's going to be good. The craziness of the DC universe. Now, what I mean by that is I'm kind of tired of them constantly resetting things. It's like they feel like they have to reset things every couple of years. Now, I know why they did Rebirth so quickly. It's because the New 52 people didn't appreciate that interpretation of Superman. I really don't blame them, and I'm glad that when they did the Rebirth, they restored Superman to truth, justice, and the American way. I'm glad they brought that old character back. Speaking of which, Superman and Mr. Terrific have cameos in this issue as well. So anyway, I highly recommend it. Scott Snyder is a fantastic writer, and the artist he works with, oh my gosh, these guys are incredible. And they have 3 different variant covers. This is the first version, but I plan on getting, there's another variant where there's like a statue of Batman. I'm planning on getting that one at some point, and I'll show it off to you when I do. So, anyway, Dark Days, The Forge, can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see what's next in this series. All right, so moving right along, this is the Trinity. Now, I know, I'm sorry I made all of you wait for this one. I had a choice to get different comic books, and so at the time I went with those. But instead, this time I went with the number 10 on the Trinity. Now, in this one, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are the main characters. But in this issue, as you can see, some of their fellow Justice Leaguers have cameos. Now, this continues the Dead Space storyline where these aliens are infecting the Justice League. And in this one, you find out a little bit more about these aliens. Like, for instance, they can grow really big. Originally, they were kind of similar to the facehuggers from the Alien series. So, you find out all kinds of things about them. This character is, he's the one he accidentally, or so he claims, he accidentally crashed into the Watchtower. I'm curious and excited to see. This is a really good series. I hope that if Dark Days is setting up some sort of new reset, I honestly hope that they looking for that they keep this an ongoing series, because Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now, I'm not a huge Superman fan, but Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are the key cornerstones of the DC universe. I think that's indisputable. The way they work together, the way they operate together, and this shows a deeper connection. Now, in the back, for all of you Aquaman fans, and I know he has a growing fan base, they have a special preview for Aquaman 25. Now, as you can see, they're combining the classic Aquaman with the movie version that's coming out for Zack Snyder's Justice League, or I should say Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon's Justice League. So anyway, definitely pick up a copy of this. I love the series. I love it, I love it, I love it, and I can't wait to see what's next for it. Alright, so we have a comic book that's from Marvel! Say what? That's right. I know normally I throw DC stuff at you constantly, but I'm actually a little happy with Marvel since they brought back Ben Reilly. I'm not too thrilled about how they're reinterpreting his character, but I'm glad he's back. So I decided to start right off the bat with this new series, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Now, this is number 1, but this is actually an old series Before, Spider-Man had two prominent titles. It was The Amazing Spider-Man and Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man. Later, they separated those comics and just made it Spectacular Spider-Man and Peter Parker Spider-Man. But this one, they're bringing back the old school, and I really like it because one of the things that's been frustrating me about Marvel is, oh, check out that, and by the way, check out this really cool artwork. I mean, they went above and beyond for recreating the series. I'm really excited about it. This #1 issue, the writing is incredible, the story is incredible. Ant-Man and Captain America as Sam Wilson have cameos in the issue. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, he has a cameo. It's really cool, and it goes back to kind of the old days of Spider-Man, because originally Spider-Man was kind of like a focal point. Marvel was unique from DC Comics. Now, DC isn't this way anymore, but if you read even as far back as the 90s, the DC Comics superheroes, with the exception of the Justice League, kind of existed in their own little storylines. Marvel, on the other hand, everything was connected. So Human Torch especially made lots of appearances in Spider-Man. Daredevil the same, the Punisher the same. He was, and like I said, and you kind of see his connection to the Avengers with Falcon, and then of course, let's see, where's Ant-Man? And then of course you kind of see Ant-Man's kind of teasing Spidey there. But this is another series that I think is good. I think it's off to a great start. Now, hopefully, because one of my complaints about Marvel is, one of the reasons I stopped reading them is, apart from them killing off Ben Reilly, they also started to go extreme catering to the SJWs. Now, I don't know if they thought the SJWs would start buying comic books, or they just wanted to give in to their demands. But one thing Marvel has learned, and comic book stores are suffering from it, SJWs don't buy comic books, and no one else wants to read SJW storylines. So it kind of looks like maybe they're backing off from that a little bit from this, because this is just kind of a straight good superhero story. It's really great. It kind of gives a recap of Spidey's origin, just to make sure you know. And to me, it brings back to, harkens to the old days of Spidey being this happy-go-lucky superhero who kind of struggles with self-doubt a little bit. So anyway, definitely pick up a copy of this. This would be a fantastic addition to your collection. And that's all the time we have for today. Before you go, I want to remind you to like and click subscribe. Be sure to share this with all your friends. I do all kinds of stuff. I do movie reviews, I do comic book reviews, I do trailer reactions. I am all over the map. And you can follow me on Twitter at RealJacobAiry. You can find me on Instagram, real.jacob.airy. You can find my blog, www.jacobairy.blog. And also you can like me on Facebook. Now, Facebook is where, because I'm also a political journalist, you can find links to some of my articles on my Facebook page, as well as plenty of other links that you might find interesting. So definitely like me on Facebook. Last, but definitely not least, pick up your copy of my paranormal thriller, Cacophony. It's about this group of people in this town. It's a fictional town. They are under assault by a demonic horde led by the Grigori leader Ashtaroth. Now, she is spreading all kinds of fear and doubt, and in fact, she is instrumental in killing a preacher that everyone loves. He's beloved by everyone in the town, and it just destroys them. But God, in his infinite wisdom, sends the angel Gabriel, a guardian angel named Christopher, and the 7 archangels to come, and it leads to an epic climax of biblical proportions. So check it out. Now, this book is completely fictional. It has, while I did do my best to keep it theologically sound, it is not a theology book. So all you critics of that, just remember, this is a fiction book, and I think it has something for everyone. So definitely be sure to pick up your copy on Amazon, and it's available for download on Amazon Kindle, and it's also available on Barnes & Noble. So search it, Cacophony, or look for me, Jacob Berry. Once again, thank you so much for watching. My fans mean so much to me. You can find me everywhere. You can find me on Patreon, patreon.com/StudioJake. Consider helping me out. And of course, like I said, like and subscribe. I'll see you next week right here on Studio Jake.